Welcome! It's yet another A Star to Steer Her By, your favorite Star Trek podcast, where we're watching the whole damn thing. Especially Voyager, which you're watching right now, with episode 264.
Yeah!
Wow! So, of course, by after all this time, you know this is Ames.
This is Caitlin.
Jake.
And new and introducing... Oh, wait, no, it's still Chris.
Original flavor, Chris.
And Poochie.
How you doing? I'm Radical. Or whatever.
Speaking of Radical, let's talk about these two episodes we're covering this week, which are...
Radical.
Favorite Son and Before and After. Okay, Favorite Son. Wowzers.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we're flying around in space, and these women compel us to their planet, and they make the men age really quickly and hide in an urn. No, wait, that was Lorelai's signal. Shit.
Yeah.
All right, hang on. I got this one. We're flying around in space. And we go check out this planet, and it's full of all women, and there's a group of men who they kind of seduce all the time, and... Oh, no, wait, I think this is Angel 1.
Yep.
Shit, that one's Angel 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we gotta know... I gotta remember which episode this is. I'm pretty sure this is an episode where we're flying around in space,
Yep.
and suddenly Spock doesn't have his brain.
Right. Wait, no.
Oh, right, that was just... They were kidnapped. His brain was kidnapped by a planet of all women. Okay.
I think these ones stole Tuvok's knees. They needed knees.
Neelix's lung. Alright, but for realsies, God, this episode is like a mishmash of all episodes we've seen before. Favorite Son.
Some folks born made to red flag. Ooh, that red, white, blue.
Shit.
I think that's 14.
And when the man plays hail to the chief. Ooh, they ain't point the cannon at you. It ain't me. It ain't me. I ain't no favorite son.
Thank you, Jake. Wow. It was an amazing voice you were doing. Okay, here's the real
It's my
life
big John
synopsis.
Fogerty voice.
Alright, but for real, we're flying around in space. That part's still true. We come up upon these new aliens, the Nasari, and then Kim, out of freaking nowhere, is like, fucking fire on these assholes! Here, I'll do it myself! Even though Tuvok really shouldn't be letting me do this.
No.
Tuvok, do your fucking job. Boop, boop, boop. He starts firing on the Nasari start firing back. They chase each other around for a while. Kim is thrown off the bridge. Good. And, after a while they come to, they've lost the Nasari, and they... talk to Kim about this, and like, Kim, what the fuck is wrong with you? And also, what's up with your face? You kind of have all these new, like, trill spots almost, but half-assed. What are those about? He's like, I don't fucking know.
But they go all the way down.
We check this out, and suddenly, like, Kim, I almost said Trill. Kim has all these, like, new DNA modifiers, and they're saying, what the hell is wrong with that? Meanwhile, we've figured out that the Nasori were, in fact, going to fire on us, and somehow Kim's premonition that, this was going to go bad ended up being true.
Whoa.
He's still fucking court-martialed, guys. God damn it, Harry. And he says, you know what we should do is hide from the Nasari over on this planet, Taresia, where I'm just compelled to go, like a fucking salmon fish. So we go to Taresia, and all these beautiful women in their flouncy orange gowns. Really, really limiting color palette, guys. They say, oh, Harry Kim, you're back! We missed you so much. You're a Taresian like us. And they say, what? Because it turns out Kim was an alien, and as an embryo, his dadums must have gone and put his little embryo in his mommy.
Gross.
We see some flashbacks to mommy. And he grew up a human so that one day he would grow up and realize, I have to go back to Taresia now. Goes back to Taresia, so now they've got some more new DNA to play with. It's unclear what their statement is, but it's all a fucking ruse, because these women are bitches.
Where's the lie?
I mean, it's very Lorelai signal in that they're just here to lure men, and they trick them with lots of sex and many wives and so much watching Garrett Wang make out with women. Just a lot. Just so many. And it turns out this other guy, this other male supposed Taresian on the planet, not Albin, Taman.
One of the other chipmunks.
Taemin has recently got married to like 3 or 5 of their women. And when Kim figures out, they're not letting me leave, even though, I should be able to leave if I want to, because I don't actually live here. I want to go back to the Voyager, please. And they won't let him, so he goes to talk to Taemin, and whoops, they've sucked all the life force out of Taemin.
Among other things, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. And Kim says, okay, help? I don't want to be here. And at the very last second, for reasons, the Voyager has managed to beam him out. I forget how.
They just flew through the shield around the planet.
Smart. Good job, Voyager. They beam him back out. They say, all right, let's get out of here. Hopefully the Nasari and the Teresians just fight each other and not us. And that's what happens instead of what I kept saying, which was nuke the planet from orbit. But that's the end of the episode.
General Order 24, doodah, doodah. General Order 24,
had
kill
one of
them all
those in a while.
today.
I want more General Order 24, but we end on Kim and Harry being... Tom and Harry having a cute scene, which they usually do. Mm-hmm. And me being kind of like, huh?
Mm. Yeah, I didn't mind this episode.
One thing I was just like, even knowing pretty quickly, like, oh yeah, no, this is bullshit. They are gonna kill him for his organs and such. It was still just so, like, uncomfortable, all the, like, women pawing at him and the other guy, and it's like, I get it. They're purposely doing, like, extreme male fantasy so that they'll be lulled, but it's still just like, I don't want to watch this. I'm creeped out.
I mean, was it really extreme male fantasy if nobody's ass was in his face?
What?
It seemed extremely normal to me.
Extreme male fantasy via network television in the 90s.
Yeah, total lack of face sitting, but all right.
Like, those scenes were uncomfortable. Also, I am still convinced Harry Kim is ace, but...
The show doesn't seem to think so.
No, it doesn't, but I feel like...
He was doing back handsprings away from those women fast, though, so maybe he agrees.
I should have timed some of the kissing, because there were moments where I was like, and this is where they pull away, and he says, nope, he's still going. He's just mowing that face.
Like, again,
Harry.
I get it was the point, but I was still, there was something about the way they did the scenes that I was still like, even knowing this is part of a ruse, I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, that was, a little bit much.
But I did love the backward somersault away from sex. That was amazing. And I immediately thought of the Sir Galahad sequence from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Naughty Zoot!
And then he wanged the other one over the head with what kind of looked like a chalice. So even better.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. So he ties one of the women up.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, wow, there's so much kink in this episode.
Right.
Like, a lot. Like, holy shit. He ties him up and, like, gags one of the women. And one of his potential wives.
He's like, you said this could be hot.
The other one's like, I don't know about this. And then he just clubs her. I'm like, holy God, Harry.
Big ass cup. It's amazing.
But that, like, so the other one, right, he had just put, like, this little thin piece of
that
fabric in
is
her
not
mouth. And she's like,
like,
I mean, you can just talk!
Well, here's the thing, like, even if she couldn't make distinctive words, there was nothing keeping her from screaming. Yeah, like, that was one thing I noticed, too. I was like, that was
a lame...
That is not an effective... Like, again, it was over the tongue. It would probably prevent, like, proper enunciation, but not prevent just going, ugh!
I like that this is a bridge too far. Everything else that we've seen in this stupid show... But this is what we...
This is too damn much.
But I did like his little scheme.
Enough.
He was like, all right, so they do that tying up thing. I can use that to my advantage. And then just whang! You know, and it's like, this is great.
Wong.
I wish I could say I'd done that on purpose, but... So, I love that. I loved his little escape scheme. You know, it was fun times with Harry. I did not pay enough attention to Harry Kim back in the day.
Well, he's been missing for the last several episodes.
Oh, but I just mean when I was a kid and watching this show,
I see what
like,
you mean. Okay.
I didn't remember, like, how delightful he can be.
I was really waiting for, like, once he figured out what was going on, I was waiting for him to escape by doing the Touch Myself dance from Austin Powers.
Make the fembots
no.
heads explode.
Yeah, the scene where he has to escape.
There's so much Austin Powers on this podcast.
That's a great scene.
We secretly have been sponsored by Netflix to mention Mike Myers as much as possible as a way to subtly. It's subliminal advertising for the Pentaverate. They don't want us to mention that directly. Oh fuck! I just
I don't know what the
Screwed the
Pentaver
deal.
is.
It's a show that Mike Myers has apparently contrived based on a thing he made up for So I Married an Axe Murderer.
And by all accounts, it is terrible.
It
Alright.
doesn't look good.
Yeah,
so
Mike
it's
Myers
not...
is kind of worn out his welcome, I feel.
He's a little past his prime. But to his credit, this is like the first thing he's done in ages, so like he kind of
What
understood.
about the Shreks? He does the
Well,
Shreks.
live action thing. Anyway, this is not a Mike
The
Myers
Shreks
podcast.
are good, though.
I've
Well,
only
the first
I've
one's
only
good.
seen one of them. And
The second one's good, too.
It's all right.
Shut the fuck up, it's great!
All right, anyway.
Yes.
I like Puss in Boots. He's a good kitty.
Oh, he is a good kitty.
Speaking of Puss in Boots, talk about those outfits, huh?
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know.
They,
They were-
left,
they were
sure
kinda-
did. They left a lot to the imagination, am I right?
They were kind of TOS-y.
They
felt.
were.
yeah.
They looked exactly like any of the outfits from the Lorelei Signal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which again, appropriate considering all this. Like it, the whole scheme does feel a bit TOS, like you said.
Maybe these are the aliens from the Lorelei Signal.
There you
There we
go.
go.
Could be, and they just
Why are
came
they
up-
in the Delta Quadrant?
Maybe they get around. I mean, it's been a couple hundred years. They could have made it there by then.
Really, they gotta figure out though. Like we gotta figure out a better way to breed because like
Are they even breeding, or are they just sucking life force?
Well,
they're
no, she
breeding.
said
They're
that they
sucking
needed to-
so much cum.
Oh God!
They're just guzzling an entire human body's worth of cum
Weird.
to make their offspring.
Yeah, they basically said that they need a lot of
they-
calories or something.
No, they said they
to-
needed genetic material.
yeah, they
Genetic
seem to.
material.
They needed cum.
Yeah, they just straight up apparently just need pieces of cells, which is too bad because otherwise, again, like, hey, come to our planet and like
We'll cut your hair. Or
and jerk into a jar and
we'll take your skin flakes. We don't
Like,
care.
here's what it would be. It would be like you'd see the guy, and then you'd see a head go down, and then it would cut to the scene of the dude that
Dan
drank
Aykroyd
that
getting-
drank the wrong cup,
in
the wrong grail.
In,
The guy who chose
yep.
poorly in
See, I thought he
Last
looked
Crusade.
like one of the corpses from the Brendan Fraser Mummy after
Ah.
Emotep had his way with them.
oh Emotep, famous cum guzzler.
Weird. Oh no.
Now, here's the question.
Oh God.
It's not that males don't happen on this planet. Instead, they're very rare. So when they get
That's a
one
lie.
naturally,
Though. I think it's a lie.
I don't believe anything they say.
Yeah.
when they
no
get,
kidding.
but if they get one naturally, do they like also like kill?
Well, I assume they do what they do with Never mind.
I mean, here's the thing.
I
Most of
don't
what they
trust
say is a
anything-
lie.
yeah, everything's a
Males
lie.
must be rare, not non-existent, because a species wouldn't evolve that needs to suck genetic material
Well,
from
no,
another.
I think it could.
Or-
Unless they can
or
steal it
they've-
from women and it still works.
Or they've achieved
Life,
perfection by not
finds a
needing
way.
men, frankly.
They're like the what is the race in Legend of Zelda that's mostly women? But if they ever have like a male,
The Gerudos.
The Gerudo,
the
yeah.
Gerudos, and whenever they have a male, it ends up being Ganon or something, and he
Pretty
destroys
much.
the world.
But see, they specifically go out and find husbands.
Yeah,
Like that's
true.
they get into that in
Breath of the
Breath
Wild.
of the
Yes,
Wild.
thank
Yeah,
you.
they go out to find.
it's
their-
maybe it's more like so
and those thighs. I just gotta say,
Have you seen the abs too?
yeah.
Yes.
Whom's thighs? The Gerudos?
Oh yeah,
the
thunder thighs.
but maybe they like the Asari, where they can take genetic material from any gender.
The what?
Mass
The
Effect.
blue aliens from Mass Effect.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Sure.
I'm guessing it's like they're kind of like a parasitic type of organism in a way, right? Or I guess not a parasite. What would be the term? There's I think
No,
that
symbiotes are.
A virus. They're
there
a
is
virus.
a term in nature for animals that
Take without.
like a
Giving,
cuckoo.
yeah.
No, that's parasites. Parasites take without giving.
Yeah, but there's maybe that's just the blanket
Yeah.
term. I'm specifically thinking of
Like
some
those
kind of fish that
those
does this.
wasps that lay eggs inside of caterpillars and
Remora?
No, remoras are mutually
There's some
beneficial.
kind of there's
So
some kind of
they're,
fish or bird or something that lays eggs in
The
another.
cuckoo.
Oh, yeah, the cuckoo.
Oh, the cuckoo. Okay, there you go.
They're cuckoo. These women are cuckoo.
They are. Cuckoo.
that's for sure. But what
Crazy.
woman isn't? Am I right? Ah,
Well-
cha cha.
If I was Harry Kim, though, I would have been out of there the second the only other guy there was fucking Boat Shoes there. Jesus Christ.
Shoes!
Yeah, Harry Kim.
That's the
Good
he
to
was,
see you, bud.
Yeah, he was immediately
Good to see you, champ.
immediately unlikable.
Yeah,
Like
big time.
I am not sad that he's dead.
And like, I love how when they're trying to convince Harry of this thing, fucking Boat Shoes says, "So I bet you were really good at math and music when you were a kid."
Fucking
You
racist.
fucking racist.
That was
piece
kind of my
shit.
first thought. Yeah.
Oh
And I'm picturing like Harry can be like, that's a lucky guess.
Oh, jeez.
Fucking honky. All honkies are the same, even when they're from space.
But your parents really pressured you to get A's, huh?
Apparently his parents are tone deaf, though, so...
Yeah.
Yeah,
We saw Harry Kim's mom.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
did.
She looks pretty old to be his mom, to be honest.
It's the future, you know, they're having kids well into their
And maybe that's why they had to do in vitro, like they were suggesting they did.
That's true.
Well, actually, I guess that probably was just more Alien Planet Lie, but still.
It was.
Well, regardless.
I mean, Harry did say that they had been trying and not succeeding.
That's true.
And
He said
conceiving
that
for a while.
He was
True,
their miracle baby.
This is like a master class in cold reading, though, huh? Because, like, they came up with this shit, and he's like, yeah, that's true. They were having a hard time conceiving.
Their virus is particularly good at attaching to nerd DNA. It's like, didn't you ever want to imagine you were special? Yeah, I did.
I mean, what kid didn't, though?
Yeah, but it's especially strong, I feel like, if you're a sad little clarinet dork.
What's wrong with playing clarinet? I mean, I never played
clarinet.
I
did?
But he was also good at math, Caitlin.
Wow, you fucking
Clarinet.
loser.
I know.
Apparently.
Clarinet
I'm aware.
plus math, I mean...
I legit did not know you played clarinet. That's
What a
amazing.
It was like
monster.
only in 7th or 8th grade, and then I stopped.
Oh, but that makes you the
Because
Harry Kim
people
of this
like
podcast.
because
That's
people
what-
like you talked her out of
That
it.
was always true, Chris.
You know the thing about kids and musical instruments is that...
They're really bad at playing them.
well, here's the
usually.
thing. There's like a threshold when you're learning a musical instrument where it sounds good and people want to hear it, but everything below that threshold is
God.
absolute shit.
Yep.
Like there's no in between. It's not like you progressively get better and people are like, okay. It's like people suffer through your music playing for
As you learn.
for like 10 years to be like, oh, you're doing a great job. It's good. They suffer fucking through it for a decade or more, and then like finally you get good enough to actually be good. And like there's so many kids that lose interest in that window that like if you can eventually, like that's why all professional musicians are good at playing musicians, because they fucking
Because they keep up with
they
it?
kept up with it.
Yeah.
Neat.
But no, you are right, though, that there's like... You have to sit through this gradual improvement as opposed to...
And you know what's the worst part? The worst part is the encouragement. Because you have these fucking lying piece of shit adults going around being like, oh, he's so talented. Can you hear him playing that saxophone? He's the best. He's a little... I can't think of a saxophone guy right now. Kenny G. We got little Kenny G over here, and he's so good.
Listeners, if you've ever thought, man, these people always talk about how they don't want kids. Now, can you see why? We would be terrible parents.
I'd be great.
Well, this is more like why kids don't want us.
I would be so
Good. I
fucking
don't want them
honest
either.
with a child about their music playing that
They would
they would
really
they
cry
would
a
be
lot.
That would be terrible.
I mean, honestly, like, end of the day, 50-50 thing, like, okay, like, I would rather, if I had a kid, suffer through them playing music poorly than have a kid who's like, Daddy, I want to play soccer. Because I was like, oh, fuck, I gotta drive you to fucking...
You can't drive,
Practice.
bitch.
Oh man, so
I have to go to your practices. I gotta
You
go
don't
to your
have to go.
games and pretend I
we
care.
we go on walks up at this park up the street that has like baseball diamonds. And we see like, you know, they're probably like between 6 and 10-year-old kids.
Oh, they're all terrible.
They're so bad. Like not even like you look like, first of all,
Jake runs out
there's
there
like,
and like kicks their
oh yeah,
ass.
I'd beat them so hard at baseball, and I don't even play baseball. But anyway, we look out there, and there's like 20 kids on the field. They're not standing near any particular position. They're just all kind of milling around. There's like one coach.
That's because they're never going to hit the ball.
Well, that's the thing, though.
So why
Like,
bother
that's
with
the
the rest
fucking
of the
coach's
team?
job. You have the coach to teach him, but the coach is just there lobbing balls, and the kid keeps swinging at him.
That's how you learn.
And they don't call you out. They just say, no, keep swinging. Keep swinging, little Jimmy. Eventually, you'll be on the Red Sox. Fucking jerks.
This has been Encouraging Your Child Corner with Jake.
Yeah, that's why the beginning of this episode, I was almost into this planet. I was like, oh man, yeah. Because if you bring the embryos and you just transplant them on whatever planet, that means this is a planet free of children.
That's
But
true.
we never really get to see what they actually do, because if they're, like, you know, taking out
Yeah.
all the genetic material,
Yeah.
they're putting it somewhere.
I'm
Assumably.
assuming like they dump like an egg sac somewhere.
Okay.
You know.
Maybe they bud, like Vilix Pran.
Yeah. Now, I'm not gonna, like, even though I knew it was not a ruse per se, but if it was like, I thought would have been sort of fun if maybe, like, it wasn't a complete lie.
Oh, I have notes.
Like, maybe he actually is part alien, but the catch is, you die in the process, which is why he needs to leave. But you say there are notes?
Yes, so there are notes, because the writer, Lisa Klink,
again.
intended for Harry to actually learn in this episode that he is an alien. And
neat.
he would just live on the ship as an alien. He'd have to do the makeup every week. And it would be something that his character, develops over the course of the show. So you can see that where the producers would be like, no, let's not do that.
Rick Berman screamed, "Not development!"
Not something we have to remember week by week.
More like Harry Kim was like, I don't want to sit in the fucking makeup chair 3 hours every week so you can make me look like a half-assed Trill.
No, Wong says he would have liked being an alien. He would have been open to it because it would have allowed for more character development.
Yeah.
A thing most of the characters desperately need on this show.
Yeah. Because that as an idea is pretty cool. Like, again, if you still could have had the whole, like, I gotta get out of here because I don't want to die thing and all that, but... Plus, then you maybe still could have played with, like, he still has some occasional, like, extra knowledge that's just sort of built in. Like, especially now that Neelix doesn't know where they are. So often he just be like, my alien brain! Captain, there's a really good hot dog stand on this planet.
Yes. Yeah, but at some point wouldn't it just be sort of become like Linda thinking she's a psychic in Bob's Burgers, and you'd have to be like trying to perform all the time and like no shit.
I don't know. But yeah, that would have been cool if they kept that. And I have to agree with Neelix. I thought the spots were fetching. Although, yes, they also did look semi-trillish.
But the what's or what?
The spots were fetching.
Oh, the spots.
Here,
That's what Torres said. Oh, yeah, Neelix said that at the end.
Yeah.
Torres said that he looked like a speckled targ, and I thought
Yes.
that was cute.
here's what I don't get.
Tell us.
So earlier in the episode, when they first find this information out from the
Sorry?
whatever,
Wow.
they go to the doctor and the doctor confirms it, and then he says, "Oh, and I looked back at past bioscans and it looks like it was just dormant," or he says something like that.
Yeah.
But then later,
It was hiding out as this other thing.
yeah, but then later in the episode, he's like, "No, I checked his last transporter trace, and there's no sign of the DNA until this particular date."
Yeah, I was lost that
So
too
I'm like,
because
wait a
he'd
minute.
seen it once.
Yeah, so that you looked before, and you confirmed it.
Did he just start looking back further
I don't
before the
know.
date where he got
It's almost-
infected?
That's
It's
probably
probably
what it
like a
was.
plot hole. Like maybe between the time that Clink wrote it,
Yeah.
and the time it made
Oh,
it to production,
yeah.
like that detail changed,
And
Yeah.
they forgot to...
and they forgot to pull that doctor line out.
But yeah, you could also just write it off as like, yeah, he like checked. It's like, all right, I'll check a few previous ones, but just didn't go back quite far enough. We've all done that, kind of half-assed our job. Admittedly, he's not programmed to half-ass, but he's growing. That was one of his subroutines. I half-ass shit now sometimes. Good luck.
Some days I'm Gandhi.
Some
Weird dog.
days I don't give a shit and phone it in.
Yeah, sex planet.
Mm-hmm. Did anyone recognize the kind of matron of the Tessarians?
I did, and I
Was
have,
she the woman from Perfection or whatever the fuck?
There is no perfection.
Not
isn't
Perfection.
a thing.
That's the
Paradise?
one where you have a timer, and if
Yeah,
you
they
don't do it, they'll
put the pieces
pay-
into the
yeah,
slot,
they
make the right selection.
Pop goes perfection.
But no,
No,
I
it wasn't.
Is
Okay,
it-
I have
but it isn't
I had a
Paradise?
thought on who
It's
I
not
think
Paradise,
it
but
might be.
it might be the one you think is Paradise.
I think it might be the Screen woman
Yes!
from whatever the name of that episode was.
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary.
Which is that the one where they?
You get Paradise and Sanctuary
fuck-
flip flopped a lot, Caitlin.
They
So
were
you
the-
might have been
Which
right.
one is Sanctuary?
That's the one with they got eczema real bad. And
No. I was thinking of the one where they go down to like throw people on the hotbox planet.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
So
Not that one.
Which one is that one called? Is
Paradise.
that not Paradise?
That's
Oh, so I
Paradise.
got it right for once.
Yeah, that one was Paradise.
Not Perfection.
But Screen is the one.
That's
with
the one where they want to
flaky
set.
people.
They want to flaky and they want to settle on.
Oh, the
Basil.
flaky people.
Yeah.
Was she the head flaky person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I would
that's
never
what I
have
thought.
guessed that.
She's much less unpleasant to look at when she's not covered in flakes.
What a,
And those
Wild.
weird haircuts.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, that's right. The fucking haircuts. Jesus.
Chris is throwing all kinds of shade today.
Yeah.
Oh man, I felt bad for Torres this episode. She got a face full of plasma.
Yeah.
And lung too.
Ooh.
Did we
Our
ever
lungs
figure
are
out
plasma.
why those aliens don't like the
Maybe they've stolen some of their dudes.
I was gonna say they probably just know that that's what they do is.
You think they'd fucking warn people, though?
So
Like,
just
hey,
trying to kill them.
one of your crew members getting all weird lately? They've been infected. You deal with that.
Which
Yeah,
one is
exactly.
this?
Put up a fucking
Cat.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Maybe so. They must not know what's actually happening
Maybe
because
not.
otherwise they wouldn't have attacked Voyager.
Well, they
would
said
have
that they
warned
didn't know.
Voyager.
They were like, we just know that people go there and they never come back.
Yeah.
Nobody ever goes in.
Nope, not quite
Nobody
Wonka
ever comes
rules.
out.
Not quite. Close. Halfway.
2 men enter, 1 man leave.
No
Nope.
men leave.
Still not
Well,
that.
1 man did leave this time.
Well, that's
No.
true, but that's not normal.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is like they're still there, so it's not like they did anything to help anybody else. So today the Prime Directive won, I guess.
Yay.
If they're just gonna do this again to some other Harry Kim in the future.
Harry tells Tom the truth of the planet, and Tom is like, 50-50 shot I stayed anyway.
Man.
Yeah, he's
Death
like
by
Death by
Snoo
Snoo. Yeah.
Yeah, as I say, yeah, if this episode had been about Tom, it would have been over very quickly.
Actually, no, he'd have left even sooner.
Yeah,
he'd have
because
been like,
he would have heard them talking about getting married.
Exactly what I was about to say. So like, oh,
I'm
I
sorry,
left the
how
oven
many
on.
how many wives did you say I was gonna have? Whoopsie zoinks! You know that running sound?
Tom's fear of commitment is so strong, he actually gains the power of flight.
You know, I don't know if I buy that because I have it on good authority that he gets married in the future.
Well, yeah, everyone grows
In
up.
fact, in the
eventually.
next episode.
Yeah.
But let's finish this episode first. There was a funny comment when, Harry's being all deja vu about things, and someone says, I'm going to say Chakotay, because it sounds like a Chakotay thing. Oh, why don't you pull a shuttlecraft out of your hat? To which I say, no, please, we need more shuttlecraft.
Yeah, so many.
I think that actually was Chakotay. I think
Probably.
you're right. It feels like a Chakotay line. It feels like some garbage dad joke that, like, no one in particular should say, so of course it's him. Come on, Chakotay, do better, man. I want to like Chakotay. I really do.
There are times I like Chakotay. Most of the time, he's just kind of there.
He's been sort of growing on me. They've given him fun little moments. I enjoy the dad humor level of pulling a shuttle out of your hat. Like when
You're
they're...
a fucking embarrassment.
Like, again, I still find his background at odds with his personality, but when they're not using him to sell bad information about indigenous peoples, he's, I don't know, occasionally amusing and, like I said, an embarrassing dad kind of
Yeah,
way.
and I
He
like
makes a
Robert
great
Beltran,
tub.
too.
Yeah, he seems pleasant.
And he makes a great tub, that's true, Caitlin.
Well, wait, so
Mm.
what else has he been in that, like, you know him?
I
You just said, oh, okay.
I
So you
like
just
him
said
as
that
a
you like
person,
him.
because I've also heard him guest on the Delta Flyers.
He
and
might
stuff
be
like
on a
that.
Murder, She Wrote.
Everyone is on Murder, She Wrote.
Or is it a Mrs.
Pretty sure
Columbo?
I'm
I
on
feel like
Murder,
he's
She
too
Wrote.
young to be on Murder, She Wrote. That would make more sense, though. Janeway was on that. Mrs. Columbo. She was Mrs. Columbo, wasn't she?
Yes.
Speaking of Mrs. Columbo, there was a... I don't know where that
No, that's
segue's
fine.
going.
That's a fine segue.
We kind of dropped the women kept pushing drugs on the men, and Harry said no at one
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
And I was like, why are they pushing drugs? Oh, it's probably to keep them,
It's gotta be like a
sedated.
sedative or something,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it reminded me of an episode of Malcolm in the Middle that was excellent, because the grandmother character on Malcolm in the Middle, who is just a she-wolf, eventually she's getting married, and it's like, oh, weird, because the guy you're marrying really shouldn't be into you. Like, he seems always kind of, sedated, and then they learn, oh, she didn't give him his pills today, and he kind of, winks out of it, and it's like, who are you? Why am I getting married? And he gets the fuck out of there.
No.
Well, that's
That's
very
Is
uncomfortable.
that the mother's mother?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
I've actually never seen that show at all.
I remember that the mother was kind of a battle axe on that show.
Also, it was Murder, She Wrote. It was one of the, very late season ones, though, which is why
What was Murder, She Wrote?
Robert Beltran
Okay.
was on Murder, She Wrote.
Oh yeah, there he is. Wonder if he was the murderer.
I don't know.
We'll find out.
But yeah, it did feel like that was probably... I'm surprised there weren't more scenes of them trying to get him to take it, because clearly it was meant to even further lower inhibitions, you know?
Yeah, to keep them from also figuring out the ruse and
Yeah.
kind of keep them docile.
Yeah.
Because it really was immediately apparent.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm surprised there weren't more scenes of me. Oh, do you want? No, I'm good. I'm straight edge. I got that little thing you draw on your hand in the '90s.
I don't know what
Little
that
thing
is.
you draw on your hand
Didn't
in the
play with that
90s.
thing. You were straight edge. You
I
drew
didn't
something on your
know.
hand. You went to
I
parties.
didn't know anybody that was straight edge.
Neither did I, but cultural osmosis.
I did. I forget what the thing that you drew was. Though.
Okay, but there was. I'm not just
Wasn't it,
completely.
like, just
It was a picture of a
Yeah, I
wet
think it was
blanket.
an X.
Yeah,
Or like
I think
a
it was just
T
an
or
X.
something.
You missed my joke.
It can't be good.
I heard it.
Okay.
Like
thank you, Chris.
XXSXE or something.
No, that was a skateboarding game, wasn't it?
I'm just trying to remember. What was your joke?
Said it was a wet blanket.
That was a good joke.
That's not a good joke.
That's a great joke. Oh, yeah, man. I was so bummed out at the end of this episode because I'm like, oh, I have a perfect topic of conversation for the podcast tomorrow. I can talk about how similar this is to fucking Homer and the Odyssey. And then they brought it up in the fucking
Yeah.
episode. I'm like, God damn it.
Good
Yeah.
try, Jake.
Oh, Circe, right?
No, the
The
sirens.
Sirens, right.
Which is the Lorelei signal, basically. Again.
Yeah.
So,
But,
but
it does fit with Circe, too, though, because she would, lure them into her planet being all sexy and shit, and then she would turn them into pigs and eat them.
Yeah, it actually is
Damn it.
closer, really, to Circe
Circe.
than the sirens. Because the sirens aren't gaining it; they just enjoy luring people to their
Drowning
death for
men.
some reason.
You ever tried it? It's fun.
it does look fun.
Ames gets it.
Is there any historical basis for the sirens?
I don't know.
'Cause I know, a lot of those old things turned out to be, old sailor tales. There's you gotta stay away from the mermaids, because they'll fuck you and give you chlamydia. And then it turns out it's a...
Clam idiot.
yeah. And then it turns out, it was just that a bunch of sailors were
Getting drunk
were
and dying.
fucking whales and stuff.
Wow.
You know, I once hypothesized that Nessie was actually a whale dick.
But that's a lake. There's no whales in that lake.
You don't know.
There's no whales in
It's
that
a
lake.
really big beluga.
There be no whales here.
Anything else on this one? It's getting strange.
No, yeah, it's too strange. I'm done. I'm done with the strange.
I liked where you were going.
I didn't.
Harry was done with the strange. That's why he did the backflip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, speaking of weird biological stuff,
Yeah, speaking of... how did this baby come out of you? Let's talk about before and after. Wow.
Well, we got to see it 3 times.
See,
Yeah.
we got back. I mean,
Hey!
back got baby.
Oh,
Ah.
that's a good one, but it's still upsetting to me.
Oh yeah, it's upsetting, but it's still pretty good wordplay.
Yeah. I mean, aside from the babies, I do really like this episode. It's really fun. Let's talk. Okay, so before and after, we start off and we're kind of in this little caskety thing. It's like the biotemporal chamber, and we're looking out and we see the doctor, but with hair, and we see some woman we don't know and a young boy look at them go in the chamber. And then we kind of flash, and suddenly it's a little while before the whole chamber, and Kes turns out to be the woman in the chamber, but she's an old woman now, an old, dying, senile woman going through what the Okampa death ritual is, which is the Morologium, which is a little like Elogium, but with a more in front.
It's even more elogium.
It's so
than
much
last
more.
time.
It's Elogium, but more. And she kind of a little bit dementia-y, kind of I don't know who you people are, and they're you should know who we are because I'm your daughter, and here's your grandson, and the doctor you've known for years.
Maybe
now.
he just she figures if she pretends not to know the child, it'll leave her alone.
Aw.
No, wait, that's what we would do.
This was a good little child, though. He was one of the better children of the show.
Well, that's
Which
a
is the
fucking
lowest
low bar
bar.
if I ever heard one. Yeah.
And, then we talk with her for a little while, but she doesn't remember fucking anything except literally a couple minutes ago when she was looking up from the chamber. And then we flash again, and it's a little earlier than that, and she's in bed, and she's like, how the fuck did I get here? I was just in sick bay. What the fuck? And she goes over, and her grandson, Andrew, is making her birthday present. And she's like, you already gave me this, and I didn't want it then. And he says, no, I just started on it now. And we start realizing, things are a little bit backwards here, or a little bit counterclock going on. And we flash again, and suddenly we're at her birthday party, and there's no birthday present from the grandson, because he hasn't done anything
son
yet.
of a bitch.
And it starts becoming clear, Kes is kind of jumping back to points in time from her death in the biotemporal chamber. And we talked to the doctor about this, and we started to figure it out, because, whenever something weird is going on, you have to figure it out. That There was a point in the past where we were fighting the Krenim, who sound like a bunch of dicks, and they blasted us with this chronoton weapon. So yeah, we're going backwards and backwards in time because Kes at one point had this chronoton radiation poisoning, like the whole crew did, but they all got cured of it. And it turns out, when she was on her deathbed and they put her in the biotemporal chamber to try to extend her life, it brought back out this temporal thing, and that's why she's going backwards in time. Good job, like, explaining the premise very clearly, episode. We keep jumping back in time, and though we get to this point where we're in the year of hell, where we're fighting the Krenim, and Kes says, this is what this is, and this is where things start going bad. Damn it, and now there's a baby coming out of my back, and this is the worst place to have jumped to. And Paris is the daddy, because when the year of hell killed Janeway and Torres, and our best friend Lieutenant Carey, who we haven't seen in a very long time now. Kes helped him get through it, and then they were able to, like, hook up and all this thing. And then they had that daughter that just came out of Kes's fucking back.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, I figured this out. This is when when I and everyone get all this poisoning from this chronoton radiation. I have to figure out what the deal with it is so that I can cure myself of this disease that I'm going to have in the future, but also in the past. Okay, just go with that. She figures out by finding an unexploded missile in some Jeffries tube somewhere and using her whoop 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 to figure out what the frequency is. She jumps back in time again and says, okay, doctor, here's what we gotta do. I'm jumping back in time. Things are going hooey. Here's the chronoton frequency you need to know. Throw me in that chamber until we fix it. And doctor's like, okay. Throws her in the chamber and the chronoton radiation is going down and down. She's like, yeah, this is going good. This is going good. And then suddenly she jumps back to fucking Caretaker, the episode. And she's like, wait, no,
my hair is terrible.
The hair is bad. We're just getting on the Voyager ship. Janeway, help. And Janeway says, Neelix, shut the fuck up. I gotta listen to this woman who's talking sense.
What I love is that Neelix is like, because he and Kes have, like, I assume, like, been having their relationship by, like, letter or email or something since they're not, like, on the same planet. And he's just, like, immediately apologizing, like, this is my crazy girlfriend being a crazy person. And I was like, fuck off, Neelix.
To Neelix, she sounds like a crazy person, though. Like, if we were just in a conversation and all of a sudden I just jump up and said, wait a minute, I'm traveling backwards in time, you'd be like, Ames,
I feel like Jake,
stop it.
I feel like Jake, of all people, though, would at least give you the benefit of the doubt and be like, no, she doesn't usually talk like a complete fucking lunatic like this.
I mean, the thing is, like, Neelix, this is early days. He doesn't know that these Starfleet people are totally used to fucking madness.
Yeah, and he isn't. He's used to just a very specific kind of madness, usually from the K's.
Yeah, at this
We're
point...
almost through the synopsis now.
Yes.
We keep jumping back in time, and then she's a little girl with her daddy, and she's like, Daddy, I'm jumping backwards in time. I'm actually a 9-year-old woman who's dying on her deathbed. And he's like, honey, what the fuck is wrong with you?
We're late for dinner, bitch.
And we jump back to her own birth, which is disgusting. And we jump back to her being a little embryo thing, and going back, and then there's a moment
which I hated that,
moment of black, and you're like, oh god, she just winked herself out of existence. And then it comes back, and it jumps forward to the future again, and suddenly she's back in the temporal chamber thing, with the doctor saying, 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year! I mean, happy you don't have chronoton poisoning anymore.
That doesn't have the same ring.
And that fixed the day, and now, Kes can tell us, by the way, at some point, if you run into the Krenim, go the other fucking way.
They seem like jerks.
They seem like the worst. The end.
So, does this mean now that, unlike most people, she has the misfortune of remembering the trauma of her own birth?
I don't know. Like, because when it flips back and she loses the rest of the radiation poisoning, does she remember that scene with her dad? Or has she been in the radiation chamber the whole time?
I don't know. Because the other thing I wasn't understanding is when they're in Caretaker in that time frame and she flips out, did that happen? Like, does Neelix and Janeway remember that happening now?
That's a good question.
No, because now she remembers the rest of her life, and that wasn't in the rest of her life, because that wouldn't make sense.
So it didn't change the past, even though she went to the past.
Yeah, that's...
Maybe it created a split in the timeline.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll say split in the timeline. Because otherwise there was just one day where Kes was being very strange to Janeway for about 30 seconds and then stopped and then was fine again.
Started screaming and then disappeared.
Yeah. I did appreciate
like you do.
that they gave her the bad Caretaker wig.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they
you?
didn't give her the good short hair wig they gave her later. They were admitting, like, yes, this used to suck.
They were like, but don't worry, we still have it, just in case anything happens to that nice wig.
Well, now she's got a new hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
She got the locks.
Yeah, apparently Jennifer Lean was having, like, reactions to the glue they'd have to use to affix the ears.
Oh,
So they figured, long hair, cover the ears, we won't have to do that to you as much.
Jesus.
I noticed that infant cast did not have Ocampan ears.
Well, you can't put ears on a baby.
You probably could, but...
I mean, they glued little Borg shit to a baby.
That was a slightly older baby, though.
Yeah.
They got some very fresh ones for
And
this.
that was like 20 years earlier. There are probably laws against that by now.
There actually are. There are a lot of limitations on what you can do to baby actors. Baby actors, like there's a fucking thing.
Stupid babies.
They can't consent to being in this show.
We're at the point now where CG is good enough to just fucking make baby CG.
No, 'cause now they tried that with that. I never saw the
That
movie.
dancing baby.
No, there was.
Ally McBeal?
That baby was totally not believable.
Remember that dancing baby?
I remember the dancing baby.
What was that? Like something we sent around in emails
Ally
back
McBeal.
100
it
years
was
ago?
from Ally McBeal, and then it was like an internet meme.
It was?
Yeah.
Was it meant to be a real baby on Ally
No,
McBeal?
it was her, like, hallucinating a baby
Okay,
for some
great.
reason.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, but there was a movie a few years ago. I don't remember what it was, where they tried a CG baby. And it
Oh,
was
really?
good.
You're not thinking of that Clint Eastwood one, are you? Because that was just a very obvious doll, not CG.
No.
Are you thinking of Boss Baby starring Alec Baldwin?
Oh yeah, that one was. That's a terrible looking baby. No, I can't remember what it is now, but there was a famously
Just-
bad CG.
Just have the Hensons make all your babies.
You're telling
Ooh.
me that they can make Robert Downey Jr. look like he's 25 again, but they can't just whip up a baby?
Just have the Teresians make all your babies from the last episode.
Gross. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad they kept the back baby situation.
I'm not.
Oh.
I hate that the baby comes out of the back so much because it's so disgusting. Because later, she puts her shirt back on and, what the hell's going on back there? No one's going to know. She puts the shirt back on and, they're bringing her down the hallway. And Neelix still gives her a pat on the back. I'm like, oh, and then I vomited all over the couch.
Wow. I wondered what the smell was in here today.
Yeah, they had a...
Days old vomit, you say?
Ocampan biology is fucking horrifying.
Yes.
I mean, it's from Elogium, which was a mistake of an episode.
No, yeah, that's for
And
shit,
they,
sure.
they realized, well, the baby's in the back. That's what we'd established, so we're stuck with it.
Well, the one time they decide to stick with what they came up with, huh?
So, maybe it's just me, but I'm a little weirded out by Harry Kim getting with Tom Paris's daughter. I don't know why.
Well, he wanted to be with Tom Paris, but it's the next best thing.
It just seems weird. Like, because I know
It's like when David Tennant married Peter Davison's daughter.
weirded out by that.
I know, I am too.
I don't know, it's just strange.
It is a little bit weird, because that means that Harry Kim at some point, dandled this little girl on his knee. Definitely. They're best friends. He definitely...
babysat her at some point.
Yeah, no, this is some weird, grooming type shit.
I mean, Ocampan must only be a baby for a couple of days.
Yeah, when we meet Andrew at the deathbed, he's 6 months old, and he looks like he's 10.
Yeah.
Or older, I'd say.
But yeah, I mean, again, I'm not even necessarily...
Regardless.
Yeah, it's creepy.
That part aside, even though, yes, certainly.
No, that's the part that bothers
it's a little different, we saw Cass, she was already physically a human adult. But yeah, that part even aside, my first thought was just it's your best friend's daughter. That's just, I don't know, weird.
I don't know. Because Harry is otherwise such an innocent and not shit guy, I give him a little bit of the benefit of a doubt that, maybe, because we learned that Linus was, she learned how to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And she, is a very competent crew member. And there's a lot to like about Linus, even though we only see her for a little bit.
With each of them being progressively less Ocampa, do they potentially each have a longer lifespan?
Ooh, I like that.
Clearly they're both still rapidly aging, so they probably still wouldn't have a human lifespan, but, could Linus maybe make it to, 15? Will Andrew maybe make it to 20-something?
Ask Tanis from that Ocampan colony.
Well, that was different. Those were full Ocampa, but with better medical care.
With
That's the other thing. They also have...
What was her name? The other caretaker person.
Yeah.
Not Sinestra. Something like that.
Something,
Suspiria.
There we go. But yeah,
I don't want her in timelines.
That's the other thing, of course, too, is, could Cass theoretically, apparently not, but with the right medical care, could she make it past 9?
Well, we know now that is, not true. The Doctor, as smart as he is,
and he will tell you
he'll tell you how smart he is.
So often.
That was
Why
good.
did they decide that at some point in the future he gets plugs?
Yeah, just so you know, time had passed.
I did love when Kes wakes up, Doctor, you've lost your hair. And he's like, what?
Yeah, what?
At first, I thought that he was, like, when we were first watching, like, the beginning of this episode, I thought that because he had hair that he was actually the guy that created the EMH, and I was, like, even more confused
Zimmerman.
about what was happening in the episode.
But Zimmerman's never had hair either, in the times we've seen him.
That's true, but still.
Oh, except at this point we hadn't seen real Zimmerman yet. Still.
We might have, because this is late season 3 of Voyager. When did we meet Zimmerman in DS9?
I feel like pretty late in DS9.
I'd have to look, but yeah.
They'd done that. Well,
Maybe like season 5.
yeah.
Yeah, I also appreciated that he was calling himself Van Gogh.
That was cute.
But then apparently 6 months earlier he was calling himself Mozart.
Well, apparently he
Also
was leaning
cute.
towards it, but hadn't declared
Ah.
it. But yes. What a strange name to choose for a physician.
A little bit, yeah.
It's also
Especially because I think before this, all the names he'd been considering were other
physicians.
doctors of
and
some
such,
kind.
yeah.
Were the names of family members of the women he had banged.
Or that.
Well, that just means that he's branching out. He's becoming a more complete person.
Aw.
Instead,
Or he's-
inspired by the greatest doctors in cinema, he's Dr. Howard.
Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't get it.
It's a Three Stooges reference.
Good.
Well, at least it wasn't Batman.
Dr.
Yeah.
Batman.
Dr. Batman.
Yeah, so we get a lot of interesting things that the show knew that they were going to touch on in the future, such as meeting the Krenim, who are a bunch of assholes, because they call whatever this period was when the Doctor is offline and everything's awful and Janeway and Torres and Carrie are dead, because they wanted the finale of this season to be a two-parter called Year of Hell. We're eventually going to see the Krenim, and it'll explain itself in the future, so I'll not spoil now. But for the finale of Season 3, they went with Scorpion instead, because Jerry Ryan!
Oh. I didn't realize that was this season.
Yeah,
She shows up that soon?
Yeah, shows up a few episodes.
That's exciting.
I'm preparing to be excited.
I know I had mentioned last week, or 2 weeks ago, whatever, that I really hated Kess's jumpsuits, but I quite liked her dresses.
Oh, her dresses are always good.
Yeah, but these are like new ones, and I was like, oh, these are nice too. This is much better.
I even liked old lady Kess's little sweater. It was cute.
Oh yeah, that was nice. They went back to dressing her well in this episode.
Yeah, I'll say Jennifer Lean fucking attacks this episode, and she is so excellent in it.
Yeah, she
Like
did a
when
great
they
job.
when they give Jennifer Lean something, because usually, like I think I've said before, like usually she has this very reserved quality to the Kess character.
Yeah.
And in this episode, we get to see her effectively having dementia.
That
Which was such
bummer.
a great portrayal that she gives, and it's heartbreaking watching her at the end.
Yeah.
Until you kind of see like, oh, she's actually starting her life at the end and wouldn't know anything. Kess has become unstuck in time,
Yes.
and then she moves on to nope. I am actively solving a riddle, which was excellent because she's brilliant and she figures out everything that's going on with the more information she gets.
It kind of reminded me a little. Obviously, in the real world, it works the other way around. But this reminded me a bit of that Prodigy episode, where they're all in different timelines or different
Time Amok or Amok? No, yeah, Time Amok.
Time Amok. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Time Amok, which obviously
Oh,
in
when
the
the
real
time
world.
is moving different speeds.
And they're all-
Such a
poor
good episode.
Rock. Oh.
I love that episode.
I did too, but it was so upsetting.
But yeah, it made me think of that. Which again, obviously, in the real world, this actually came well first. But. And I vaguely recall having seen this one as a kid, because I do remember being kind of freaked out by the, like, oh god, the undevelopment of the fetus sequence, but that's kind of all I remembered. Like, I remember, yeah, there's like a Kess aging backwards episode.
Yeah, see, I remember it as the one where we see Kess whelp a child out of her bag.
Oh
Which-
god, you
which
think
is
that
rough.
was bad? I was watching this episode with headphones on a computer.
Oh, yeah, you got all the squelchy.
There was some very active Foley during that
Oh,
scene.
no.
It was horrible. I mean, it was probably appropriate, but it was just like right in my ears, like,
Oh no.
oh no, it's squishy. Oh, so well done, Foley team. That was nasty.
Gross.
I
don't know why she
That was such a cute laugh. I don't know why.
Chuckle.
Yikes. I I don't know why she was acting like she was pushing. Like, it's in the back.
There's maybe still some kind of muscles in the back sack.
But also maybe that was her fighting the urge to scream bloody murder as her baby clawed its way out of her body.
Here's the thing. She was also, in addition to being pregnant, constipated.
God damn.
Which is the worst combination for
I was thinking something like that, but I wasn't gonna say it.
Well, that's the difference between you and Jake. Jake is a much braver man.
Jake is a Vulcan. Wow.
That's
a thing that
was a
happened.
laugh.
But yeah, I thought this came together pretty interestingly. The way she had to sort of... She kept coming with more information, but having to re-explain herself and not knowing how long she'd have each time.
What was that movie with Tom Cruise, Jake? Day After Tomorrow? Tomorrow Was Yesterday?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. Good movie.
It's supposed to be, yeah. I do keep meaning to see
Yeah,
it.
you should see it. It is clever in the way that they do it. It's basically a video game.
Yeah.
And it's a little, this episode was like, every time you start over, it's like, okay, now I have to re-explain to myself what's going on. I have to reconvince Janeway. Luckily, Janeway knows when someone says something is going wrong, you listen to that person.
Yeah. Well, it's why even last episode, it's like, I'm not going to immediately throw you into the brig because who the fuck knows? We live weird goddamn lives in Starfleet.
Him, on the other hand, when he starts just firing at people, you fucking court-martial the fucker and never give him a promotion in his life.
No, she just said, go, I'm annoyed with you, but go see the doctor, because who knows?
He didn't even leave the bridge, the fucker.
It's true.
Him.
Oh, that's what I was going to say, and I'll very briefly.
Yeah.
Again, just bad Starfleet protocol. I get that you need to be able to swap stations, because who knows? Those stations explode like it's their job. So maybe
or the guy manning the station explodes like it's his job.
Right. So on the one hand, it's nice to be able to easily say, all right, ops can handle tactical now. But if tactical is actively going, it's too easy to transfer.
Tuvok should have a big button that says hell no.
Yeah. Just a big red panel says fuck that, slaps it. But this episode.
Okay, what do we think was in the present that Andrew was making?
Right, I'm a little pissed we never found out.
I wanted to find out so much because my guess is that they're all individual cake pops that look like characters from the show.
Oh, that's delightful.
I would want to eat them.
I figured it was going to be some kind of macaroni necklace, but I like your idea much better. Oh, sorry, I just kicked
It's going to say a Voyager crew nesting doll.
Okay. Who's in the middle then?
EMH.
Baby Cass.
It was a really tiny EMH.
It was just a little sculpture, but it had an electronic thing, and it was a sculpture of him, of Andrew, and it's saying, "Thank you, Grandma, for letting me exist." And that's all.
Is this some kind of...
Well, it's because now he's not going to exist, because this isn't how the future's going to play out anymore, because they know about it.
Yeah, I like their little back out. It's like, it's a possible future, just in case we don't want to write some of this stuff.
Well, I mean...
Just in case we lose, one of the characters.
Spoilers, we sadly will not see Security Officer Neelix.
He was funny. He was pretty good.
Maybe I'll be Chief Security Officer.
Which is kind of when you think about it, it's like, yeah, who knows, maybe you'll fucking die. Is kind of what's implicit there. Because I don't see Tuvok saying you know what? I'm bored being security chief. Neelix, you're in charge.
Well, no, I kind of saw it more as maybe he was promoted to something else, ops-wise, that was more important.
Yeah, no, I read it as the only way Tuvok's leaving that job is if he gets a phaser to the brain.
Damn. I just don't feel like Neelix would be that cold.
Well, I don't think he meant it to sound like that, but it's just it's like how the Honest trailers with "I just can't wait to be king" translates to "I can't wait till my dad dies."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so who is the first officer?
Oh, they haven't said, have they?
I thought it was Tuvok.
Is that what we're assuming?
Yeah, it makes
I
sense.
read
Well,
online
if
it was Tuvok.
But so if it's Tuvok, then that means he wouldn't be Chief Security Officer
Yeah,
anymore?
see, that seems weird.
I mean, Spock was chief science officer.
TOS,
and still...
they just did whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah, it's true.
But when, I think when Data became first officer on a few occasions, he switched to a red shirt.
But did he still man his station?
I don't think so. I think he did first officer shit.
Of course, we're also dealing with the fact that Voyager can't replace dead crew members, so...
Well,
How
apparently
many
they can.
holograms can we rig up?
Apparently they can, because they have, except with the Elogium, they can only have one child. But as I say, if you could keep just making Ocampa, eventually you'd have a shitload of them.
Yeah,
That's
the one
true.
child, it's a mistake. It's just it's the writing team making a mistake.
Yeah, and we talked about that at the time. How
Let's see,
dumb it was.
they're probably reaching sexual maturity at like a year, probably.
Well, they said that since Kess's elogium came early that one time, and she was under 2, she was around 2. It's usually later. I think it's usually more around 3 or 4.
But Linus couldn't have been that old.
Linus was 6 when we met her at the end.
Oh.
Yeah, Kess did a really big jump backwards.
Oh, that's
at one
right. You're
point.
right. Okay.
Yeah, there was a big jump.
You're
because
right,
at the
you're
end,
right.
she's 9. She
Yeah.
dies
Yeah.
at 9.
Yeah.
Right now, she's 3 and 2 months, I think.
Yeah, like a lot of the first jumps were kind of close, and then there was a big fucking jump.
Yeah.
You're right. So yeah, if the elogium only happens when you're between like 3 or 4.
Which
5.
also apparently means a lot of the aging happens very quickly.
Well, they said when the more elogium hits, it hits hard.
I see.
Yeah.
Because if she's 6, then she's got, we assume maybe, but again, maybe, that's the other thing. She might have a little more time because she's half human.
But even on Kess's 9th birthday, she looked a lot better than she did at the start.
Meaning at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm saying, like she went downhill very fast.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was the more elogium kicking in.
Yeah.
Or that's what I'm going to say happened, because otherwise
That makes the most
less sense.
Apparently,
But-
she stopped her psychic shit, though. Like,
Yeah, they did kind of say that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Hmm.
But yeah, either way, with Voyager's situation, it would make sense that Tuvok might have to pull double duty as security chief and first
I mean,
officer.
he's like, you know what? I don't want to do it, but if it means Neelix isn't the chief of security, I'll do 2 jobs.
Sorry, I thought you were going to say, I don't want to do it, but if it means Tom Paris is the first officer, then I'll be first officer as well.
I really liked Tom Paris in this episode. He seemed very sweet with Kess.
Yeah.
And the moment when he's talking about dead Torres actually gave me some feels, which I was not expecting, because at this point in the show, he and Torres are still at the barely flirting stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like, the scene where Torres and Janeway die. It was one of those things where it's like, that Tom at that point was like very distraught. He left his station to like see what happened.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh no, we're in the middle of a fucking battle, so
I can't just stop.
Everybody get back to work. We don't have time to deal with the dead people.
Yeah, or we're all going to be the dead people if
Yeah.
you do that. Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
I did love there was that conversation Kess had with Tom when he was mourning,
Yeah.
and she tells him, "You're going to be okay," and he's like, "Fucking am I? Because this sucks a lot." And Kess has to remind him, like, "Hey, I happen to know you're going to be okay because I've been there."
I'm not going to tell you how.
A little self-serving on her part.
Yes.
Don't worry. It's going to be fine.
I'm gonna have some sticky hands for you when you get
No.
back.
Yeah, wait a minute. How did they have a kid? She had her sticky hands.
But
That was a fake.
Yeah,
Didn't we just talk about this like 8 seconds ago?
That was
Yeah.
like-
Are you moving backwards in time?
Well, no, I mean,
to
she had
before
it
we
early,
had this
but did they say at the end
They
she
said-
might have
yeah,
it again?
They
Oh,
said
yes.
that. They said that because it wasn't a real one.
It might. Okay, okay.
She'll have it again normally.
All right. Good. I'm glad that...
Maybe twins are very common among Ocampa.
We might have said that at the time.
We did say that at the time, but I remember saying that since whenever Kess talked about it, she would only refer to a baby in the singular. That it didn't seem like it. Again, the writers of that episode are
Did
fools.
not. Yeah.
I
they
noticed
did
her.
not.
I mean, I
It's
know.
like
I
a
know.
whole litter of babies.
I know it was a joke, but her dad does say, "Oh, you're my favorite daughter," which implies that either he has more than one daughter, or
She's obviously the only daughter.
or it's a joke that she's the only daughter, which implies that having more than one daughter is a thing.
You know who the favorite son is, though?
Ah.
Harry Kim.
Supposed one, made to wear the flag. Ooh, that red, white, and blue.
This is like the AC/DC
Yeah.
tape.
This is.
Wow.
It would have been to the chief.
Good luck editing this, Chris.
Oh, that's staying in. I'll turn it
but
down.
The volume is woo.
Yeah, I will turn that part
Ouch.
down.
Well, we've just chased off another 10% of our listeners with that.
They fucking love it. Okay.
Well, I meant just because they literally can't hear anymore. Because of the damage we've done to them.
You're going to get Jake on American Idol. It's going to be awesome.
I could do it.
You good?
I think you could.
Okay, but I mean, don't take it seriously. I mean, just go and sing just like that.
Yeah, I'll do that.
You'll be one of the infamous people.
I mean, AC/DC is a very popular band. People like that kind of stuff.
Neat. I have one more note, and that's that the director, Alan Croker, got into the mindset for this episode. Because it's very mind-fucky, this episode. You're going to have to put yourself in a position where you don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And he says, I had this dream once where I was with all my loved ones, and for some reason they could neither see nor hear me, so every time I tried to connect with them in this dream, there would just be nothing. And he used that as the kind of, feeling of, anxiety and inability to really get your explanations out as his inspiration. It reminded me, we did a show once where one of the characters in the show was basically supposed to just be full of anxiety and not knowing what the fuck was going on the whole fucking show long, basically. And the director did an acting exercise with him before rehearsal one day, saying, "Okay, we're gonna have you ask us a bunch of questions. You have to figure out what the theme of what the answers to our questions are actually about." And the thing is, there was no answer. The thing was, if he asked a question and it ended in a vowel, we would have to say yes. If he asked a question that ended in a consonant, we would have to say no.
Oh my god, that's
and
so
if
complicated.
he asked a question that ended in a Y, we'd have to say maybe. So he'd ask us a question like, okay, is it a person, place, or thing? And we'd be like, there's a G at the end,
so
therefore no. And he'd be like, okay. And it would go on like that until, we were literally saying, contradicting ourselves in answers. We were saying maybe a lot to things that, there should have been an actual answer for, until he was just so I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing in this exercise. And we're like, exactly!
Oh no.
The poor man. I think that stressed him out more than the show did. When we see Kessa's birthday, and it's her 9th birthday, and there's 10 candles on the cake, and that's going to get answered in the future because there's an actual tradition in a lot of cultures where you add one candle to the cake.
For luck.
For one to grow on.
Yeah. I hadn't noticed the candle
But
count,
they know it's going to be her last birthday, so it's also kind of a sad birthday.
Oh, that is sad. But she gets one extra candle to blow out with the lung.
Yeah, that's right. They mentioned that old lung is still...
Of all the continuity we get, mentions
the
of the
fucking
lung.
singular lung.
I would sure fucking hope, though, but that by the time we get to the 24th century, we're no longer blowing spit all over cakes before we're going to feed them to all
then
our
you
friends.
just try quarter over it.
I fucking hate that tradition, by the way. I think it is fucking disgusting because you're blowing. And sure, yeah, blowing air is one thing, but no, when you blow, especially when you blow hard, little bits of spit come out of your mouth. So basically, every time you blow out your candles on a birthday cake, you're just spitting all over a cake that you're about to feed to all your friends. So it's fucking gross. Please, for the love of God, stop blowing out birthday candles. I have a perfectly good solution that you can do.
Okay.
You just wave your hand really fast over the cake, and that creates enough of turbulence to extinguish the candles.
What about no? See, but here's what you got to do.
Time to wave out your
It's time for
candles.
you to make money off of Big Birthday. You start making birthday candelabra. So you put the candles in that away from the cake, so you still blow out the candles.
I think that's even better.
And you can start, and that's the thing is you can make little kits, you can add on extra as time goes on, or we're a very disposable culture, you just go buy a 3 candelabra.
I think it's the worst fucking tradition.
Speaking of birthdays, Klingons apparently age fast, maybe.
Not as fast as Ocampans.
I bet you they don't bother blowing out the candles. They just shove their face into the fire.
They straight up murder a targ and pour its blood over the candles.
Poor little targ, but they're supposed to be so cute.
Oh yeah, no, not a targ. What's the thing they hunt?
Oh, they still
targs,
eat targs. They're just monsters.
And also, who wants melted wax all over their cake?
That's a good question.
I do.
Why?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't.
Oh, I was gonna say. All right, moving on to our blogtivity of the week. We've been doing our favorite characters from specific alien races lately. This week is going to be Klingon week. For reasons I pulled them out of a hat. So Klingons are always super, super fun.
But they never wear hats. You said you pulled it out of a hat.
Well, I wear hats. So who's got some favorite Klingons to start us off with?
I can go first.
Did you pick yours, Jake?
I did pick mine. I picked 3 Klingons.
Good choice. I mean, I haven't heard them yet. But
It was,
Well, at least
it
it
was
was-
a good starting choice
Yes.
to actually choose 3 Klingons.
good work.
Instead of going with,
All right, so
Andorians.
in no particular order,
Oh,
we're going to start with Martok,
cool.
who is a friend of Worf's.
Who was a friend of mine.
and Worf's adopted brother, but not Worf's real brother, he's wiped his brain.
Worf's a terrible brother.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I like Martok a lot. You know, he's interesting, right? Because he's an actual honorable Klingon, but he's also not as hardcore Klingon as Worf can be.
Yeah.
He's very reasonable.
Yeah.
Well, because Worf, we said before, was the Catholic Klingon.
Yeah.
He knew it mostly from books, whereas Martok actually grew up in the Empire.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly.
Plus, didn't he start from nothing and climb?
Yeah, he's
the
got that chip on
the
his
Kethel
shoulder,
Lowlands.
kinda,
So next on my list is Martok's arch nemesis, the man who ruined his life,
Oh,
Ah.
Kor, the Dahar Master,
oh, nice.
who was a pompous prick and denied Martok the ability to rise up the ranks as he wanted to. But he managed to do all right for himself, becoming the fucking Chancellor by the end.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, Kor. I actually like Kor a lot. He is a pompous prick.
Good friend of Jadzia, though.
Good-
Jadzia's usually... Actually, no. Jadzia rarely has good taste. Damn it, Jadzia.
Yeah, but good friend of Jadzia. And just,
Especially
I don't
in
know.
Klingons.
In a way, I like him because I have pity for him. Because he's like one of those has-beens. But I don't know.
He doesn't get to die with honor like the other two has been.
But he
No, he
does.
He
But
does.
he
Well,
gets
not-
to die with the most honor because he like sacrificed himself and saved a whole fucking ship.
That's true. Fine.
So good on Kor. And then rounding out my 3, our good friend and mom of the great Alexander Roshenko,
Yay.
Kalar, who was Worf's mate
She's the
from
best.
and who and again, like, she's like the opposite of those of Martok and Kor because she fucking eschews Klingon bullshit.
But looks great in the armor.
Yeah,
She does.
does look good in the armor.
She pulls that because not everyone looks good in that armor, but she manages it.
She looks good in everything.
Yeah, and she tugs a good 2-piece. Just ask Worf.
Oh no! Oh,
Does that make her a one-man band?
Who's next?
No, but I really do like Kilar.
Yeah, she's great.
God damn it. Go, Nick. Go, Caitlin.
Um,
Don't build on whatever Jake says.
Whoops. So, I also said Kilar.
I'm full on preparing this to be a list where all of us say Kalar, so.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. I also chose Martok, because he's just a lot of fun. Plus he's missing an eye.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He's a pirate. Whatever. I like him. And then, I don't know, man. I'm really torn. Because I... Oh my god. Can I say... Can I say the Klingon that Gowron played, except in the game where it makes you experience beach?
Wow.
Because he named me Gok after his favorite snack, you might recall. So I'm very partial to that Klingon.
Yeah, so for the... We make this reference all the time and never explain it to the audience. If you've never played the interactive VHS game, what is it even called? It's some Star Trek board game you play with an actual
We have to do it again. We have to do it again and film it. It was so fun.
We did
Chris
film
loved
We're
it.
never
I'm
going
saying
to release it, though.
But I'm saying we should do it again, because now we know what we're
Yeah,
doing.
now we know what we're doing. It'll be less
Stupid.
stupid.
Yeah, it's a very, very anxiety-riddled game.
Oh my
Because
god.
as you're playing a board game, you'll literally have... What's the actor's name? Robert O'Reilly?
Yep.
Sure.
You'll have Robert O'Reilly as a non-Gowron, but still basically Gowron Klingon.
Kavok.
Kavok?
With a V or a B?
V.
Kavok.
Occasionally he starts yelling at you like, the one who is moving now. Stop your
Experience
turn.
B.
And it
Roll
was,
a
and
die
it was
for
always
damage.
Chris for some reason?
Almost always. It was fucking infuriating.
Is that your actual answer? Or are you not saying Koloth?
So that's the other thing, is I was saying to Chris that I'm torn about Koloth because I love young Koloth. He's delightful. But old Koloth is, like, kind of a dick.
You can say specifically young Koloth.
I know, and that's what Chris said, but it just occurred to me now that I could say whatever his name is.
Kavok?
Kovok.
Kavok.
What is it?
I've already forgotten.
What's his name, Chris?
Kavok. K-A-V-O-K.
Kavok.
Kavok, Kavok,
So no, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say Kavok.
Fair enough.
Weird.
I mean, it's a lie, but it's a funny lie. I also considered the Duras sisters.
As a singular.
Yeah, no, they
well,
are
you
singular.
You never get them alone, really.
You never do.
That's alright. That's why you got two dicks.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Do you want to go next? Or should I?
Yeah. Let me get this out of the way, because I realized as I was taking down just a list of Klingons, my top 5, all women,
Okay.
which is very unlike me, because usually I
Grilka?
don't. Let me get to it. So we gotta start off with Kalar, because that's fucking obvious. Kalar is the best Klingon there fucking is, because she's like she's well rounded. She's not.
I'll say.
She's not just, one of the fighting, like, honorable Klingons. She actually kind of, like, understands her place in the Federation and in Klingon society, and she has a sense of humor, and Susie Plaxton's hot, and everything about her. Kalar for the win.
Yeah.
That
Oh
was her
my
name.
god, did you do Bartok's wife?
She's number 4.
Cirilla?
My number 2, yes, Grilka, because Grilka is excellent. Grilka, who was Quark's wife briefly, and who is just, she's very cool. I love when she returns, and she's just the most badass lady there is. I think that's what it is. I think that's why only the female Klingons stood out to me, because male Klingons are just kind of rude and vicious, and I don't need men like that.
Yeah, fair.
Fuck those
fair.
guys. But the ladies like that, you can't get enough of them. So Grilka, definitely on my list. And my last one I'm going to put on my list is Laurel from Discovery.
We talked about
Nice.
Laurel on the way
We
over
did.
here. She's great.
I like Laurel a lot. She's very interesting. She makes Klingon culture very interesting in Discovery, whilst most of the rest of it is just a combobulated mess.
Mm-hmm.
Shout outs to, like Caitlin said, Cirilla, who is also excellent.
But she's rude and vicious.
That's fine.
Yeah, but fuck, Martok likes it so much.
Who was my other one?
Wasn't
Lurs-
the Duras sisters?
Wasn't Lursa and Baitor?
Another lady Klingon, eh?
A lot of Taurus.
No.
Oh, yeah, well, she is a lady.
Gorkon's daughter, maybe?
Who? Oh, yes, Azitber.
There we go. That was her
Azitber
name.
was on there, because she's also great. But what about Chris?
So before I start, special mention to older Alexander.
Oh, I was counting on him being on your list.
And he doesn't quite make it. He's close. I delighted in young adult Alexander from DS9. I liked him. He was finding his way in the world in a awkward, nerdy, ridiculous way. I'm gonna
But
go.
he is by definition the worst Klingon. Because he sucks at all the Klingon shit.
And more power to him for that. Gonna go with Krug,
Oh, yeah.
I considered him.
the first modern Klingon, as I think Jake called
Is it
him.
Krug or Kruge? I couldn't remember.
Don't remember. They might kind of do both in the movie,
Maybe.
but
They tend to do that.
You know,
lot.
a
Especially
lot of
Shatner.
yeah, a lot of like, for all that Worf is very much responsible for the modern Klingon, Krug was definitely the starting point. You know, they pretty much ignore TOS Klingon culture completely.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
And makeup.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
But Krug is sort
Wait
of...
till Enterprise, Caitlin.
There's aspects of Krug
Oh, no.
in, like, all Klingons after him in some way, shape, or form. And also, just as a kid who grew up on Back to the Future and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I have a huge soft spot for Christopher Lloyd, so...
Alright, well, let's move on. I have had enough of Krug.
Yeah! Martok, for all the reasons we've mentioned, plus I love his relationship with his wife.
Yeah.
Like, she is just so high and mighty, and he is here for it, which is kind of weird that it annoyed him when Kor did it.
How many of his balls does she step on?
All
like
four.
like
Yeah.
15 of them.
But yeah, no, and he's, great for other reasons, but we hadn't specifically mentioned just how much he fucking loves her, which is great. And yeah, Kalar, because
Oh, it's a sweep for Kalar.
Yay!
she's pretty much the one that knocked Alexander off the list.
Good for her. As she should, as his
Beat
mom.
her own progeny.
Good. She was a mistake bringing him into the world. It's the one thing you did badly, Kalar. Otherwise, we love you.
He grew up to be interesting.
I mean, but she did a good job in just dumping him on somebody else the first chance she should get.
She was killed, so.
Well,
I mean,
like he said,
That's the
dumping
thing.
her off on somebody.
Alexander probably would have turned out way less shitty if she'd raised him.
But then he wouldn't have almost made your list, Chris.
That's true.
Because then he'd be a typical Klingon
Well,
man,
I
which
don't
I
know.
don't like.
Raised by Kalar, though, she might have, made him
maybe.
sensible.
Yeah, made a good
But
guy.
instead, he was raised by the worst father, worst Klingon.
Well, no, to be fair, he was raised by the Oshenkos or whatever.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true, exactly. He was a piece of shit until he went to live with the Roshenkos, and
Yeah.
that's when he became tolerable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there we
true.
He
go.
learned how to be a person as
Yeah.
opposed to being neglected by Worf.
Oh, Worf, you're the fucking worst.
Bad
Klingon.
brother,
Neglected
bad
by
father.
Worf, traumatized by Lwaxana Troy. Like, that poor kid.
Old titties.
That weird fucking clown thing.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, that weird head in a bubble.
That episode is so fucking weird.
So no Kern. I was expecting a Kern sighting.
Yeah, Kern's not that great, though. Because he doesn't show up a lot. I mean, I love Tony Todd.
Oh, that's what
Like-
it is.
like-
You love Tony Todd.
Yeah, the actor is great. The performance is great.
The character's
The
uninteresting.
character's
Which one's Kern again?
Worf's
Worf's
brother.
brother.
Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely more like... The only reason we care about Kern at all is because
Oh,
the actor's
he get-
good enough.
That and because he
Mhm.
gets so fucked over at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that just makes me hate Bashir, so...
They're just... Yeah, but yeah, there are so many fucking Klingons. Just...
There are a lot. And a lot, like, there's just so many because every time you see them in TNG, it's just a new set of just one-off Klingons that
Yeah.
you barely get to see glimpses of.
Yeah.
You see them, there's tons of them in Discovery now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of them in, like, Lower Decks. I don't think we've seen Klingons in Picard, and I've been curious.
Yeah, no.
Because I know,
no.
like, next season we're supposed to have Dorn. And what head are they going to give Michael Dorn?
That's what every...
They'll give him his normal head.
For the
Will
whole
they?
season, he just wears a headband to piss everyone off.
There it is.
Like, we can see that there's lumps underneath it, but we don't know exactly what the head looks like.
Wait, do you mean like his first head or his second head?
No, like,
Or like
do
a
they give him a
Discovery.
Discovery head?
Why would they give him
Oh,
that's what I don't
Discovery's
get.
the past, though. Why would they
Yeah.
do that? This is
Because other Klingons in the past still look like the Klingons we see in TNG and TOS.
Well, we don't know.
No, they're definitely gonna make him look like
There's-
he's always looked.
Yeah, I was gonna say there could be different. See, this is the thing, right? So I think there could be different races of Klingons. You know,
You know,
They have
because
different.
yeah.
Because the Discovery Klingons not only they have weird shaped heads, they're also bald.
They grow hair in season 2.
Yeah, some of them do.
Extra nostril noses, though.
Um,
There was actually a comic set sometime around then that did very firmly establish, like, it shows a shot of Kronos, and you've got TNG-looking Klingons, Discovery-looking Klingons, and smooth forehead Klingons walking
What
around.
the fuck?
It's all just they just live on different areas of the planet.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. That is so not what the Discovery showrunners are
No,
intending.
well, the
Oh, it's
Discovery
not,
showrunners
but-
are dumb shits anyway. So
But there should have been smooth-head Klingons walking around.
yeah. Oh, another honorable mention I want to.
Yeah, do it.
Is I think it's Colonel Worf. Is,
I said that to Caitlin,
the,
and she was...
the guy
the
from
lawyer.
6?
Yeah, I mean, 'cause look at it. Like, literally, he's the fucking John Adams of
True.
the Klingons.
That's true.
He's got the tough job of defending the two hated most people.
Yeah. No, you're right.
you
You're
know?
right. And he had some fun ridges.
He had some good ridges.
Oh yeah, those are neat ridges. They look like tectonic plates crushing together.
Yep.
Well, looking forward to seeing more Klingons for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Will there be any in Strange New Worlds?
I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised. They'll
Will
probably
they be Smoothhead?
They'll probably be Discovery Klingons.
You think? Oh yeah, because Strange New Worlds is a spin-off of Discovery.
Yeah, it's a spin-off.
It'd be kind of great if they did have a ship of just
All
smooth
of them.
Klingons, complete with the terrible, sparkly
Yep.
cloth bandoliers.
But I also
I'd love that.
I wouldn't be disappointed if they just didn't do Klingons at all.
Yeah, I don't have
I feel
to.
like we've found
They
enough.
can't do Romulans.
We can't see Romulans. Well, we could do what they did with Oh, did you see this week's episode?
Yes,
Okay, so we could do what they did with the
this week's Alien, we'll say.
this week's Alien, because nobody
We never see inside.
no
Yeah.
and no one's ever lived to tell the tale.
Well, we know they sound different.
Yeah, but No, but I think, don't they, they say there's just been no encounters since the treaty, though, I think, in...
That's true. Yeah, so they could,
whatever
I guess
it's
that's
called.
true, they can't even see
Yeah,
them.
it's not even just that they can't look at them, it's that they, in theory, shouldn't even run into them.
Nope, they'll do it and then they'll retcon it and say, oh, well, this just never made it into the logs because they had to... It's like going to Talos. If you talk about it, we kill you.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Starfleet, what the hell? Speaking of Starfleet, what the hell? We're gonna do some new Voyager stuff next week. I'm sure it'll be more episodes of Star Trek. So the Voyager episodes for next week are going to be Real Life and Distant Origin. I remember both of them being good, so this should be a fun week. Thank you, Jake.
Probably we needed that.
Yeah, there's a new Jurassic Park coming out. We intend to do that as a 10 forward pretty soon. Or not that, but Jurassic Park, and then if any of us have seen the new ones, we'll report back.
I have not seen the new ones.
I intend to, because I want to catch up. What I also want to catch up on is everything on our Tumblr. You can go catch up and see the Klingon post is going to be up there. You can see all the Klingons we picked and the screen grabs that I had to get. I'm going to have to find Kvok out of that video game now. This will be interesting. And also all of our other great blog posts are all up on our Tumblr, sshbpodcast.com. You can listen to all of our past episodes if we're on SoundCloud or any podcast location. They all have all of our episodes there where you can listen to, you can like and subscribe and 5 stars and all those works. You can hang out with us on Facebook and Twitter. You can tell all of your friends. Tell all the various Harry Kims you see that he should be listening to our podcast. Until then, thank you, Harry Kim, for listening. This has been AIM.
This has been Caitlin.
Jake!
And this is always Chris.
Kapla! What's something Klingons say? Yes, kapla.
Patach.
Poop.
Sexy Lexia.
Thank you, the internet. You're truly a area of horrors.